If you want to see how I went from this to this, then continue watching. Hey you guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, hey. And if you're coming back, hey. Today we are doing a highly requested video, which is a makeup tutorial. So I've only ever done a makeup tutorial on TikTok, and that was my senior year of high school. My makeup has definitely improved since then. It's also like been very updated. Before I start this video, I want to give a disclaimer. All of my makeup that I do is catered to my facial features and my face shape. So of course, like, take this tutorial with a grain of salt and cater it to your specific features. But you guys have requested this video, so I'm gonna feed y'all. So let's just get right into it. Some prep. Before I do my makeup, well, I wash my face in the shower every morning, so I usually do my makeup directly after showering, but I would recommend washing your face, of course. And if you want your base to look smoother, shave your face. And obviously, like, you don't have to do this. Like, if you like your natural hair, that is totally fine. But personally, I have discovered that usually if my makeup doesn't turn out good, it's because I need to shave my face. And literally after I shave my face, my makeup is like the smoothest ever. And another thing that I do, of course, is skincare. So let me show you my skincare routine. First, in my skincare routine, I use the Anua. I'm gonna butcher a lot of names in this tutorial, guys, so sorry, but I use the Anua 77 Peach 77 Niacin Essence Toner. I usually use like the regular toner, but this one's pink, so I usually just get it in my hand, rub it, and just like rub it in my face. Also, I am not like, obviously, I am not like a makeup pro or like a skincare pro. So take what I'm saying at a grain of salt, but this is what I do. I rub it in. I know some people like to tap it in, but I feel like rubbing it feels better. After that, I go in with the Torridin Dive In Serum. And I feel like on TikTok, Get Ready With Me, you see people like literally put it on your face. I don't do that. Like, I just put it like right over my face because I don't want the wand to touch my face. So I just put it all over my face and I rub that in as well. Okay, after that is rubbed in, I go in with the Revive Eye Serum from Beauty of Joseon. I don't know. I use this under my eyes because I have like, my eyes are darker color than the rest of my face. Does it work? I feel like it does like limit, like I feel like my eyes definitely used to be a little more darker, but it obviously doesn't get fully rid of it, which is, it's okay. And I just rub it under my eyes. After that is rubbed in, I go in with moisturizer. I usually use the Torridin moisturizer, but I ran out. So today I'm gonna be using my sister's moisturizer, which is the Cetaphil moisturizing lotion. So that's what I'm using for today. Put it all over my face and then I rub that in. Okay, after that I use Aquaphor for my lips. I also use the Alba First Spray Serum. I spray that all over my face. And lastly, I use sunscreen. I used to use the Beauty of Joseon sunscreen, but I ran out, and so I'm using this one by Madagascar Centella. I'm using this one. So my friend Angie gave it to me. So I put it all over my face, and I also use a drop on my neck. And of course, rub that in. And that is my skincare routine. It leaves my face very glowy. And mind you, this is the skincare routine I use for, oh, I forgot what it's called. It's like when your skin is both oily and dry. I'll put what it's called right here, but I'm actually not sure if this skincare routine is catered to that because I literally just searched up like #1 Korean skincare like 3 years ago, and then this is what I got, so I just stuck to it. I feel like it looks very nice, but also I have naturally clear skin as well, so this is really just so that my base comes out glowy. And with that, we are ready for the makeup. So to prime, I use the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer, the one with the skincare one, the pink one, and I just put that all over my face. I'm actually running low, so, and I rub that in as well. Okay, that is the primer all rubbed in. And okay, I'm gonna give one last disclaimer. You guys, my makeup, I'm not gonna lie, is a trust the process. Okay, there is one, I do believe at one point I do look a little uncanny, okay, but at the end it always looks good. So I'm just warning you now. Also, for a smooth base, you should probably like clean your brushes. I was actually gonna do that for the purpose of this video, but then I got lazy, so I didn't. Okay, so first I go in with my eyebrows. Of course, I pluck them. I have naturally pretty thick eyebrows, so I use the D&M Thickening Brow Mascara. And first, actually, getting a little excited here. First, I actually brush up my eyebrows hair with like a separate one that doesn't have product on it. And then I feel like the wand on the original packaging, it has too much brow mascara. I kind of want more of just like a natural look. I really only use this because I do feel like after a while my eyebrows look like gray without like a gel. So I just start off on like the end, and then I use the leftover to blend out to the front. And I'm not gonna lie, you guys, like I like make things messy on purpose so that I can clean it up later, so things are gonna look a little weird. I do the same thing on this eyebrow, and then I have like my messy freaking eyebrows. And at the end of this brush, I use like, it's like a spoolie, and at the end it has like a flat thing. I use that to kind of clean up before I use my concealer. And I'm not trying to be perfect, I'm gonna clean up with concealer right now, like just I said. But it's just so it's a little more cleaner. And the concealer I'm going to be using for this video is the Kosas concealer in the shade 2.5C. And I'm gonna just go ahead and put 3 dots on the bottom. And I'm gonna go in with like kind of like a flattish small brush. And I'm gonna use that to carve my eyebrows. Usually what I do is I go on the flat edge first to kind of just like spread out the concealer, and then I'll go in with like the tip to get like the small details. And I'm pretty sure the last time I plucked my eyebrows, I plucked this one thinner than this one, so they're just kind of always gonna be sisters, not twins. Okay, and then I go with 3 dots on the top. And I do the same thing on the next eyebrow. Now I have bangs, so I usually like try to get my eyebrows to look good, but if they don't look that good, I kind of just like give up. Right now they look okay. And I go in with like a brush like this, and I just blend the concealer. And then after blending the concealer on the outside, I usually get left with like this unibrow situation. I know some people don't blend it, but I do. So I'm just gonna blend down and around it. And then like you get left with like blocky eyebrows. So usually what I'll do to fix that is I'll go back in with my spoolie, and I'll use like the very, very tip of it to blend it. And I use the residue from my concealer brush to carve that out. And that is it for eyebrows. Next is my base. So for my foundation, I use a mix of the House Lab Triclone Skin Tech Foundation, and I use this in the shade 110 Light Neutral, and I mix it with this Juvia's Place, I believe it's like a skin brightening tint thing, and I use this in the shade 6.5. And how I mix this is I actually use like this gua sha that I broke, and I just put the foundations on here. I use like just one like swift of what's left on this brush, and like half a squirt of the House Lab, and I just use the end of a brush and mix it like that. And I usually just scoop it up with the same brush and put it all over my face. Once we have that laid out, I use like this like fluffy brush, and I basically just like blend it all over my face just so that it covers my face. And I use a separate brush to really like blend it so it's smooth. Once I have that all over my face, I use like this compacted brush. I just go back over it and blend it. Once it's all smoothed out, I go on to contour. I use this e.l.f. Halo Glow contour stick in the shade medium tan, and I put 2 dots on this side of my forehead, and I like to blend it immediately because like I get scared that if I leave it on for too long, it's not gonna like blend nicely. And then I also end up going in at the end with the same brush I use for my foundation. I do the same for each side. I put like 3 dots like right below my cheekbone, and I blend up. I also put one like right underneath like my jawline, and I use just that 1 dot to blend underneath. And I do the same for the next side. And since I have an oval face shape, I like to kind of slim my face. So I put like 2 little lines right there on my chin, and I blend upwards. Now, once I have that done, I go in with the same brush, and I go over just to make sure it's really blended. I have like a chronic fear of my makeup not being blended because, I don't know, I just get scared. Okay, once that's down, I go down to my nose contour. I do really like the button nose look. So how I try to achieve that is I grab the same contour stick and I put one line right there, one right there, like from like where like kind of like the bubble of my nose starts to become just like the straight bridge. And then 2 lines right there. And this is gonna look muddy, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I then go in with a brush that's a little, it's like kind of like, I don't know how to explain it. This is what the brush looks like. And I blend this line down. And I also kind of go into the sides. I flip my brush around, and this line I kind of blend just horizontally. And don't worry, like it's gonna look crazy right now, but trust the process, y'all. And I just blend these up and down. I also drag it down to my bridge so it's not just like a harsh line. And that's basically what I do for all of it. I just brush it in within my nose so it doesn't look like a harsh line. But we're gonna clean it up with concealer right now, so it's okay if it looks a little muddy. And that's the blended contour. Next, I use the Rare Beauty like liquid blush in the shade Hope, and I use a lot, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of like use a 1.5 dots on both sides and then like a little swipe on my nose bridge, because I feel like blush is like the first thing to go. Like I feel like my blush, I always want it to look pigmented and it never does, so I kind of use a lot. And I grab a brush like this shape. Sorry guys, I'm so bad at explaining like the brushes, but it looks like this. And I really like that one Asian style where they only do like the blush right here. So I kind of try to do that. So I basically tap and try to stay near my eye in the middle of my face. And it's gonna look crazy, but don't worry you guys, like we're gonna fix it up, okay? I do the same with the next side. And for my bridge, I feel like to achieve the button nose look, I try to avoid like the actual like circle nostril part of my nose, and I focus mostly on the bridge. So I kind of just do the same thing. I tap it like that. Then I go in with a separate brush. This is the one I use. It's the Real Techniques 407 brush, and I basically just use that to make sure it's like blended, but it's still gonna look crazy, like, but don't worry guys, don't worry. It sounds like I'm trying to like convince myself, but don't worry y'all, just don't worry, okay? So next we go back in with the Kosas concealer, and I put a dot like right above my eyebrow, and I blend in everything like immediately because again, like I don't want it to not blend nicely. So I usually just go in between my eyebrows and right above them. Then I do 2 dots below my eyes and 2 on my eyelid, and I usually tap and blend. I try to drag the concealer a little down so the blush isn't directly on the eyelid, and I drag it for my eyelid as well. I do the same to the next eye. Then I put 2 dots like right underneath my nose, one right there, one right there. And I use these to blend underneath my nose, but also to put over any blush that went near my nose, because I don't want it to look like a sunburn. I want it to look like kind of like 2 dots and on my nose, kind of like a Lalaloopsy's dot. So I use that concealer to put over the blush that went near my nose and to go over the blush that went a little more down than I wanted it to be. I do the same thing on the other side. Then I put a dot on my little like, I keep forgetting what everything's called, what the hell? The little like crease, you know? Blend that all on my top lip. And I kind of have discoloration the corner of my lips. So I put a dot there, and I also put a dot in between where I put the contour on my nose. And I blend going onto my lips, and I blend only the concealer on my chin. I blend it only going up. Now, for the concealer on my nose, I use like the tiniest dot, and I put one right on the tip of my nose and one in the middle of the bridge. And I go in with like a tilted brush kind of like this, and I use the tip to blend it out, but I'm not swiping, I'm tapping. So like this. And then I use the crease part of the brush to blend it in. And that's how it looks. So next, I use my fake freckles. And I use the Baby Go Freckle, like freckle cream. And the way that this works is that you just like, you grab it, it's like a liquid, and you put little dots on your face. I like to do like this little like triangle shape, and then you use your finger to just like do it all random. So in high school, I used to do my freckles, but I didn't have like this like liquid thing, so I would literally go in with like the tiniest brush ever and like eyeshadow, and it looked questionable, but people liked it, I think. People were complimenting me on it. I just put dots and I blend it like all over my nose. Like I want like my nose to be like completely covered in freckles. And I feel like with this like liquid, you have to be very careful with how you angle your finger, because if you do it at an angle, I feel like instead of them looking like circle freckles, they kind of look like teardrops, which I kind of do not like. And then once it's covered my entire nose, I just put one dot on my cheek and I use that to put freckles on my cheek. And a little goes a long way, y'all, so don't get a little too crazy. Put a little more on this side. I do the same on the next side. And there you go,
Ow.
fake freckles. Now, that is my full base, but I do set it. I do set it and I bake. So the baking powder that I use is the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Powder in the shade Pound Cake. And what I do is I just put the powder on the lid like this. I just tap it out. And I use 2 different puffs to put my powder on. I use this like elf puff to put it all over my base, and I use this puff that I got at TJ Maxx for my eyes, only because like you can see like this one is like kind of more sharp than this one, so it gets in like the good creases and stuff. So before I get into my baking, I like to go in one more time to make sure that there's no creases and stuff. And the trick that I do that makes my base literally so smooth is I press it down, so I get some powder, and I used to just put it straight on like that, but now what I do is I grab my hand and I smooth it on my hand like this. So now my powder looks like that. And now it makes the base look so much smoother, because I heard that the way that you see it on the powder is the way it's gonna come on. So when you just like do it like that, it's gonna look how it looks on the powder puff. But if you blend it out, it's gonna look smooth like that. So I use it right there on my forehead. I put it on like my smile line creases. Basically everywhere where I put concealer is where I'm putting this powder. For my eyelids, I go in with like a flat brush like this. I blend out the creases, because you can see there's creases. I blend out the creases before I put my powder on, and then I use the purple puff. I do the same trick and I tap it onto my eyelids. And I feel like, okay, with this method on my eyelids, I do feel like sometimes it comes on a little cakey. So I go back in the same brush that I put all my cream products on, and I kind of swipe the remaining powder away like immediately. I do the same on the other eye. And for under my eye, I feel like since there's less, this is like a kind of like a big brush. I kind of have a lot of eyelid space. That's why I use a bigger brush. But for like underneath, I feel like since I have less space, I use the same brush that I use to conceal my nose contour to blend out the creases under my eye, because I get a lot of creases. And then I go in with the same purple puff and I set. Okay, now I bake my nose contour. This is what ultimately gets the muddy look out, in my opinion. Like usually like right now, like the freckles I feel like makes it look even more muddy, but once you put the baking powder, I do think that it tones it down a little bit. So I go in with a brush that's like this kind of levels flat, and I grab powder and I follow the natural curves of my nose. So I just go ahead and tap it on like this. I usually blow up to get rid of like the residue, and it works. I do the same on the other side. And I also use the residue to pat on some powder underneath where I did the contour. Now for my natural curves, I went on this part of the brush. Now for my button and my bridge, I'm gonna use the very, very tip. I just grab some like this and I just like dab it on. And I go in with my finger to shape the powder. For my bridge, I use like the very, very corner right there, and I swipe up. And I use my finger to kind of like swipe away powder that I don't think will do my nose justice. Now we leave that on until the very end. Now for the fun part. Now that my base is all set, this is when I go in with like my powders. So my powder blush, my powder contour, eyeliner, eyeshadow, stuff like that. So let's just get started. Okay, first I have this Peanuts face palette by the brand Rude. I got this at TJ Maxx. Usually I would go in with my bronzer, but I actually think I went a little heavy on the bronzer today, so I'm not gonna do that. But usually I would just like swipe a little bit and like that, and just like on the same places I did my powder, but I went a little harsh with the bronzer today, so I'm not gonna do that. Next, I go over my blush. I use this Bare Minerals loose brush powder in the shade Beauty, and I just like swirl my blush brush in there and just tap it right on like the parts that I want the circle of my blush or whatever to be the most apparent. Then I go in with highlight. I use a fan brush, and the same palette, it has like this little highlighter. I go in with the fan brush. I put the highlighter right here, like on my cheekbone. I use it on the bone of my eyebrow and the little peak on my lips. Next, I go on to my eyes. First, I do my inner corner like highlighter, and I use this BH Illuminating in Ireland like highlighter palette that my sister gave me. Very used. I go in with the shades Dublin, Charmed, and Lucky, and I use like this little like detail brush, and I just like circle them all, and I pack it onto my tear duct. I then use white eyeliner on my waterline. I use this Maybelline New York Tattoo Studio Gel eyeliner in the shade Polished White, and I just put it on my waterline. Usually what I like to do is I like to put it down here as well, so after I put it on my waterline, I'll let go and I'll just go over without pulling it down. So I feel like this gives like a cute doll look. I do the same on the other eye. Then I put glitter. Why is there an ice cream truck? It's 12:51 on a Friday. Kids are in school and it's loud as hell. Okay, I usually put glitter on my under eye. So I go in with the Kaja Peach Madeline, like little like trio eyeshadow thing. I go into like the fine powder in this, which is like the third eyeshadow in this palette. And I'll grab like a flat brush like this. I'll just spread it on my under eye. This is honestly more to like distract from the creases under my eyes, because I have like a lot of creases under my eye, and like my eyes, like my eyes and my smile lines, like the first thing to crease in my makeup. So this is kind of just a way to distract from that, I think. Once I put that on both eyes, I actually do like that Eggio style thing, you know? But I use this NYX Professional Makeup Epic Ink Liner in the shade Graham Cracker. And what I'll do is I'll like squint my eye, and like you see like that shadow right there. I'll just follow that shadow, but I'll do it really quick because it's obviously a liquid liner, so I don't want it to be super thick. So I usually just like go like that. It's very subtle, to be honest. And I do the same thing on the other eye. Sometimes it does what I want, sometimes it doesn't. I'll just go in with my fingers and smudge it, but it looks fine right now, so yeah. Okay, then I go in with my fake moles. Why is it coming back? Okay, I go in with my fake moles. So as you can see, I have like some like real moles, and after I like put my makeup on, they like get covered in foundation. So I like to go over and put some fake ones and also go over my real ones. I use this LA Colors Auto eyeliner I actually got from the Dollar Tree in the color Black Brown. It's like a little thing like that. And what I do is I just kind of like just press and then spin. So I put one like right next to my eye right here, like under where I'm gonna put my eyeliner. I put one over my real one right here, one over my real one right here. I put like a cute little fake one right here on my lips. I put one underneath right here, put one right there. I put one over my real one right here, and I put one over my real one right here. Now hold on to this because we're gonna use this later. Next, I do my eyeliner. For eyeliner, I use this NYX Epic Wear waterproof liquid liner in the shade brown. You can't really tell on camera, but I have like light brown eyes, and so whenever I use black, it's just like too harsh and I feel like a creepy doll. And I remember for the longest time I was like, what the heck, like why do I feel so creepy? And I found out because I was using black eyeliner. So my eyeliner low-key comes out different every day, but it's like still the same vibe. So I'm gonna show you guys, but I'm also gonna look into the mirror. So basically what I do is I grab my liner, and like you see like how my eye ends right here, I put my eyeliner a little above that. I try to keep my eyeliner not like, I don't want it to be super high, but also don't want it to be like super straight, so I kind of like go in between that. So I angle it slightly high, and I try not to make it too long. So from there I basically like go from the end and I go like, you know. And there you go. And then maybe I should get a little closer. And then from there, after we have that, I don't like the whole, well, actually I used to do my eyeliner where it's like from here to there, but I don't do that anymore. So do you see how like my eye has like it's kind of like a hill, you know? It's like the peak right there and then it goes down. I start my eyeliner like right there at the peak and I bring it down to like right there. So let me show y'all. And there you go. And then I just fill that out. Usually, if my eyeliner doesn't come out the way I want, I'll just go over it with concealer. I don't have to do it for this eye, thank God. Because I kind of hate doing it, but maybe I'll have to do it for this eye, I don't know. And then I do the same thing on this side. Let me lock in. Oh, I feel like every time I do one eye, the first eye looks good and the second one doesn't. Okay, no, that actually looks okay. I also kind of don't care about my eyeliner being perfect. Like, if it's uneven, it's uneven. And if one's longer than the other, that's just how it's gonna be. I'm not gonna trip. Okay, now, after that, I do my lips. So usually what I'll do is I'll use this lip liner, this e.l.f. lip liner. Then I would use this ColourPop Fresh Kiss Glossy Lip Balm in the shade Wildberry. Then I would go over it with this Half Magic like glitter lipstick in the shade Crystal Butter Shell, I don't know, something like that. And then I would go over that with my Victoria's Secret Sugar High lip gloss. But I actually got this today, like the little viral lip liner stains things. I really want to try it out because I really hate how my lipstick, well, it's a lip balm. That's probably why it doesn't last, because it's a lip balm, not a lipstick. But I want it to last longer. So for the sake of experimentalism, let's try this out. I'm a little nervous though because it's a little bright. I usually like mine to look a little nudish, so it's a little scary. This could definitely look bad really easily, but it's okay. Oh, this is long. Oh my god, this is like fancy. Okay, so 10 to 15 minutes. Ooh. We're doing this together. I'm a little scared, y'all. Should I take off? Okay, I think I'm gonna take off like the concealer and stuff on my lips. Are you like allowed to experiment during the makeup tutorial? I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm a little scared. Oh god. Okay, let me set a 10-minute timer. Okay, I hope that this doesn't come out like crazy red, even though why wouldn't it, you know? Because that would release my trauma. Because I remember when I was younger, when like matte lipsticks were like super trendy, my mom had bought me some for Christmas. She bought me like a pink one, like a kind of like darkish red one. Not like this, it was a little more nudie, and like a mauve one. And I looked scary, and I wore them to school. People were like, you look sick. But I remember like I had wore like the red one to like church once or something like that. And on my way home from church, my mom was like, you know, me and you are similar in like colors. And I was like, why? And she was like, because we both don't look good in red lipstick. Bruh. And I was like, oh, I thought I was slaying, but I don't look good. And she was like, no, I mean, it's just like there's just like better colors for us. And I was like, okay, the freak. Like, you could have just told me I was ugly and then left it there. So yeah, this better not look red, because then my mom's gonna be like, are you sure you want to wear that? So while that sets, let's move on. You see I have like this big mole right there. To go over that, I usually go back in with the freckle thing. And I put like 2 right there. And I use like this like small little like brush. And I kind of just like tap it around. Now it's time to take off the nose contour. So I go in with like a little brush, just swipe that off. Same thing with another little brush, swipe that off. Then I go in with like the same blush brush, and I only put it on the bridge right there. Then I go in with like a little brush like this. And I go in with the contour, put a little like that. And I put like a little line right there where you can really see like the button contour, I guess. Then I use the same white eyeliner and I put it on my nose. So I put it like where we put the concealer is where I put the white eyeliner. This might give some people like 2020 flashbacks, but girl, I'm still living there. And I usually just like I blend it with like my finger because I don't want it to give like 2020, you know? And then I go in with like a little brush like this and I use the same highlighter we use for like our cheeks and stuff, and I put that right over where we just put the white eyeliner. And then I put some fake moles right there as well. I put one near my eyebrow there and like one on the tip of my nose. I will be back when this dries. Okay, y'all, it hasn't been 10 minutes, but it's already coming off, so... Uh-oh. Oh, it came off nicely. That is red, though. Oh, God. Oh, God. Is that satisfying, y'all? I look like I just drank... I literally look like I just drank punch and, like, it stained the F out of my lips. It's okay. I can work with it. Okay. My mom's gonna be like, what'd I tell you? Whatever. Okay. I'm probably just gonna go over with my lip gloss. I can't tell if that looks good or not. Okay, y'all, I don't know what in my body told me try something different while you make the makeup tutorial. But it's okay, it looks fine, I think. Anyways, before I do my lashes and mascara, I want to put setting powder first. So I'm gonna put setting spray first. So I use the NYX the face glue setting spray for all over my face, and then I use a little fan to dry it all up. Now for mascara, I curl my lashes with this like e.l.f. eyelash curler, and I use this Essence Lash Princess False Lash Effect Mascara in the color Black Brown. And I use lashes so I don't focus too much on my top lashes. I just put enough where you can notice. For my mascara, I remember in like 8th grade, I saw, what's that one girl's name? The one that like got into like that beef with like Shane Dawson and stuff. What's her name? This girl. I had saw a video of her and like, I think Manny MUA, I think. This happened years ago. And she said that her like technique for doing her mascara is like, instead of just going like this, she goes like this. And ever since then, I do that. And I think it actually does do something. I think. I don't know. After I put on my top lashes, I put mascara on my bottom lashes as well. I use that same freaking... oh, Tati Westbrook. I use Tati's little technique on the bottom too. And then I use my thumb and I go under to like get the mascara kind of off from the bottom so it doesn't like smudge onto like the top of my cheek. Okay, those are my lashes. And now for the final step, lashes. I use this Duo brush on adhesive with vitamin 5 vitamins. I use the green one in clear, and I put the glue on my eyelid rather than on the lash because I feel like it like kind of sticks better. And I put the glue like where I put my eyeliner, so like kind of like the bottom-ish part. Now for lashes, I use these lashes that I got from the dollar store right now. What I'll do is I'll get like one lash and I'll cut it down the middle so it makes like just two like half lashes, you know. But these aren't like my normal lashes, and these are my favorite lashes. My favorite lashes are these on Amazon. They're actually coming in the mail. I'm so excited. I ran out, but these are affordable. You can get them at the dollar store. They used to sell them at the 99-cent store, but then the 99-cent store got canceled. So now I just wait for the glue to turn clear. So right now it's kind of like a bluish white, you know. Usually what I do while I wait for my lash glue to dry, I just like change, because I don't know how y'all do your little setup, but my setup is makeup, outfit, hair. That's the only way that makes sense to me. So usually like after I do my makeup, during the stage where I'm waiting for my lash glue to dry, I put on my outfit, but I'm not gonna do that today. But it's okay because it's dry now. So I use like the little half lashes, and these ones are kind of short, not gonna lie. So what I'll do is I'll put it like not at the very end of my lashes, but like kind of like nearby. You know what I mean? Sorry, I'm so bad at describing things. And I do the same for the next eye. And the way that I do it, I know that some people like they put it underneath. I don't know how to do that, and I'm kind of scared of that actually. I bet that does look better because then you don't see the lash glue. But in all my videos, you can see my lash glue. And then after that, I use like the same tweezers and I like pinch them. I like pinch the lashes to like my real lashes, you know, with the remaining glue. And boom! That is the final look, but that's not the real final look. I'm gonna go put my outfit on, do my hair. I'll be right back. Okay guys, and that is the final look. So yeah, if you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up, like, subscribe. Let me know what you think of this makeup look. Would you do it? Would you do something different? And also let me know what videos you guys want to see in the future. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, and yeah, thank you guys so much for your support. I love talking to you guys in the comments. Make sure to leave something sweet and I will 1000% reply, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.